Hey dive enthusiasts and newcomers. If you watch my video on attaching a bungee cord to the side pockets of the waterproof W7 semi-dry wetsuit, then you'll remember I mentioned securing the not even better with the tackling method. There are some great videos on tackling out there from channels like Diver by Design, Simply Scuba, and Inner Space Explorers. I personally really like the Inner Space Explorers video. It's definitely worth watching if you want to learn more about tackling. Let's get started. Here's the bungee cord I previously attached to the blue loop on the side pockets, making it easier to clip on gear like a reel and deassemble. As a precursor, tackling is usually easier done on rigid items like a doublender. So, I expect some fiddling around when wrapping a tackling line around the ends of the bungee. I am checking the knot and making sure it's tight. I picked up some polypropylene cord from my local hardware store. Nothing fancy. Before you ask, yes, it's probably better to use cave line or the line from your SMB spool. But for all intents and purposes, this line is not meant to be a life-saving line. So, I cut about 2 feet of line, leaving plenty of extra length to give myself some flexibility. Next, I burn the ends to prevent fraying. Tackling is a useful technique to secure items or lines in place, preventing them from moving or getting tangled. Tackling originally comes from nautical and sailing terminology. In that context, tackle refers to the system of ropes, pulleys, and other gear used to manipulate heavy loads or control sails on a ship. And here we have our tackling rope, ready to secure and organize the gear. To be exact for you guys, and to double check my eyeballed rope cutting, I'll measure it now. I measure roughly 40 centimeters for the double line, which gives a total length of 80 centimeters. As I said, it's better to have a bit more rope than to end up too short. We start with creating a loop like this. We place the loop over the knot. I organize all the ropes and hold them as fixed as possible. Now I'll work my way backwards from the far in towards the knot, wrapping tightly around the bungee. The start is always the trickiest. You have to hold it securely and estimate how many turns you're going to make. I guess maybe 10 turns. Make the wrap arounds as tight and close to each other as possible to achieve the best look. It's important not to let go of the far end as I keep wrapping the yellow line around. At the same time, I pull tight the yellow line to make the tackling as strong as possible. And of course, failure happens. Back to the beginning, and let's do it again. You have to have some patience, but eventually you will get there. Every time you go around with the yellow line, pull as tight as you can to squeeze the bungee a bit, which locks it in place. Seven rounds done, and it doesn't look too bad. I keep going until right before the knot. We ended up with 14 rounds. I pull the last round tight, but be mindful that I have to pull this part of the line back through the accomplished tackling to where I started. I have to thread the line through the loop we created at the very beginning, which is now full wrapped by the line together with the bungee. I'm checking again that nothing is entangled, and then I hold tight on the other loose end of the yellow line and pull strongly. This is supposed to pull back the line through and underneath the wrapped line. I can feel the line sliding under the wrapping, but not yet enough. For a better grip, I use a short aluminum rod, but anything solid will do the job. I hold firmly and pull as strong as I can until I feel the line is not moving anymore. I give it another 1 or 2 pulls just to make sure I can overcome any potential blockage of the line. I believe that's as far as I can go. The line appears to be jammed without coming completely out. That's not ideal in terms of creating a proper tackling, but good enough for me. After all, the tackling is only a secondary measure to prevent the bungee knot from opening, and of course a little beautificational feature. I carry out some final touches to make it look nice. We are not yet finished. In order to avoid the tackling from getting undone, I cut off the excess line. And I take a lighter and melt the stub outs to the yellow line. This way it's kind of fused together in itself. I repeat the process on the other end of the yellow line. I just have to be careful not to burn the bungee, but by holding it the right way and not getting too close with the flame, it's manageable. This looks like a job done. I am quite happy with this result, knowing that this will not win a beauty contest, but it's functional for the purpose intended. Again, it's totally up to your preference how long of a tackling you want to do, what color and whatnot. I will leave the 2 black bungee in sticking out as a third measure to make sure they are not slipping through the tackling if at all. Here we go. After repeating the exercise on the other bungee cord, we have 2 acceptable looking tackle bungees. I hope you can use this for your own endeavors. Thanks for watching, and see you underwater.